walked in a room and felt invisible? That ends today. I used to be the shyest person in the room. Now you're never gonna see me walking into a room with my head down. And here's what changed. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something that you build. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how. But be ready, because once you own that confidence, all eyes are gonna be on you, and you have to be comfortable with that. Like, that is going to happen. The first thing, like even before we start anything, the first thing that you have to do is not care about people's opinions. Opinions of other people should be so irrelevant to you that it doesn't really matter. Like, I think that constructive critics and like constructive opinions are good for you, but could help you better yourself, but they're not necessary, because you can do it on your own. You don't need anyone else to tell you how to better yourself. And that is because when people judge you, when people talk bad about you, they're just projecting their insecurities, their own insecurities into you. And that is because of different reasons. Maybe because they want to be with you, or they want to be you, but they're just too insecure to ever like reach your level. Like, that is not going to happen. So the only way that they're gonna feel better about themselves, or at least like a little bit confidence, is to take you down, because they're never gonna reach your level. If you're here and they're here, they're not thinking, okay, how can I reach that level? No, they're gonna think, how can I bring them down to my level? So they're just projecting their own insecurities into you. So if people judge you about something, it doesn't mean that you're not doing the right thing. Actually, like most of the time, it's because you're literally reaching your full potential, and they're seeing that and they're scared of that. Because if people really love you and like really know you and they care about you, they're not envious, they're not jealous, they're gonna support you. They're gonna hype you up. Like, they're going to be there to help you get to the fullest potential. They're not gonna wanna bring you down, like, ever. The only people that do are people that are insecure with themselves and probably want to be like you, but that is never going to happen. Not if they have that mentality. So please do not care about people's opinions, because people do not know you. Especially if we're talking about strangers. What do they know about you? Nothing. Like, they only get a first impression of you, they only see you on the outside, but they know nothing about you. They don't know how much you worked on yourself, they don't know how many battles you have experienced in your life, how many heartbreaks. Like, they know nothing. And I'm also talking about people that do know you, but still criticize you. They don't have the right to do so. So if your friends or your family or just a close person you're involved with does criticize you, gives you bad opinions about you, you do not have to care, because only you know yourself like 100%. Even your best friend, your mom, they're not gonna know you 100%. Only you know what goes in your head. Like, no one in this world will know what you think 24/7. Nobody, only you. And only you experience your life as you did. So the only person that can judge yourself, can criticize you, it's you. And we're not gonna do that. And by the way, people are always gonna judge, like, no matter what you do. So it doesn't really matter, like, just do what you want to do. Number 2 is your mindset. You have to change your mindset about yourself. Like, you have to start talking positively about yourself, and you have to change the way you see yourself. So please stop making jokes about yourself. Like, I know we don't have to take ourselves so seriously, but it doesn't mean that we have to talk bad about ourselves or make jokes about ourselves and our life. Because even if you're joking, I know that you believe it just a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit. You're not gonna say, yeah, I'm so unlucky in love. Yeah, I never look good and nothing suits me, nothing fits me, I'm really ugly. Like, you're not gonna talk about yourself like that. Like, other people can talk like that about you, and you don't have to talk about yourself like that. And how you do that? Like, how do you actually stop talking bad about yourself? You do that if you truly, and I mean truly, love yourself. That is really a journey. Like, it's not something that happens overnight, but if you start, like the moment you start, you're already 50% in. If you truly love yourself, you don't even need the other things that I'm going to mention. Because if you truly love yourself, you're so secure in yourself that nobody can bring you down. not even yourself, not even your mind, not even if you're an overthinker. Like, that is never going to happen. Like, once you truly love yourself, that is not gonna change. Like, there's nothing that can happen that will make you doubt yourself. Nothing. But like I said, loving yourself is a journey. Like, it's not something that you say, okay, I love myself and that is enough. No, it's really a process. And even if you think, actually, I love myself, like, I know I'm perfect. Loving yourself doesn't mean that you think you're perfect, that you don't have flaws. Because nobody's perfect. We all have flaws. But truly loving yourself, it's about loving yourself regardless of the flaws. Like, knowing you have flaws, knowing your flaws, and still deciding that you love yourself. That is true love. So the first thing that you have to do to truly love yourself is to know about your flaws, is to acknowledge them, like truly understand what your flaws are. So I want you to make a list of all the flaws that you have. And it's gonna be a list, like, you're gonna find things. But you don't have to worry. Even if you find like 10 flaws, it doesn't really matter. Like, don't think, okay, I have 10 flaws, nobody's going to love me. How can I love myself if I have so many flaws? Flaws are changeable. Like, everything in our life can change. So the moment you see on that paper all your flaws, all you have to do is try to better them, to change them, or eliminate them. And you don't have to worry because so many flaws can be changed. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Because here, the end result truly is worth the process. And also, for many people, it's not gonna be so easy to make that list, because some flaws, we only see them once certain things happen in our life. For example, I think that a lot of flaws can be seen when we are connecting with other people, when we are in a relationship, for example. Because, for example, if you're scared of commitment, you're not gonna see this flaw if you're not in a relationship. Like, if you're not getting to know anybody, you can't experience that fear of commitment. So in a way, that flaw list is actually all work in progress, because it can change over time. And if there are things that you cannot change, truly loving yourself is also about loving yourself with all the flaws that we have. Like, we have so many beautiful traits, but we also have flaws, and we love ourselves regardless of that. But really, like, try to be kind to yourself, try to talk positive about yourself. Like, the moment you're thinking something negative about yourself, try to change that thought with a positive one. Because you can't live a good life, like a happy life, if you're constantly judging yourself. Like, if you judge yourself, you're always gonna think that other people judge you too, because you don't even love yourself. Number 3, try to set boundaries and learn how to say no. I know, like, that is something that was so difficult for me for years. Like, that is something that I learned to do like a couple of years ago. It's not that much. But like, I was a people pleaser. Like, I really couldn't say no, and I wanted to make everybody happy, even if that meant that I wasn't going to be happy. I love deeply. There's not one person on this earth that said that I didn't love them enough. And I don't regret that. Like, of course, maybe I gave too much to the wrong people, but I always believe that the love that I gave, always, like, one day or the other, it's always gonna come back. Like, love is not wasted. So, but now I always set boundaries. So I see, if people give me, I also give. If not, I do not give. And that is because you're not meant to entertain anyone on this earth. And even if I'm here entertaining you, I hope so. Once I understood that, I was like, that makes sense. Like, why? Like, why do I have to entertain them? Like, why do I have to make them happy? I'm not entitled. Like, I don't have that power. Like, I don't have that obligation, especially if they are not trying to make me happy. And that is also, like, related to the first point that I said, and it's that you don't have to search for external approval. Because when you don't set boundaries, when you're always saying yes, that is because you want people to like you. Because of course, who doesn't like a person that doesn't have boundaries and always says yes to everything that they ask for? Like, who wouldn't want that? That is basically a puppy they can use how they want to. Perfect. But like I said, you don't have to make anyone happy. Like, that is their problem. Like, they are the only person that are entitled to make themselves happy. And you have to make yourself happy. No one else can make you happy. So you really have to set boundaries when it comes to relationships. Any kind of relationship, with a boss, with a teacher, with your family, with your friends, with your partner. Like, in all relationships, you have to set boundaries and you have to learn how to say no. So I really dare you this week to tell 2 people no. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's also like, especially when you really do not want to do a certain thing, say no. Like, you're not lying. You're lying when you're saying yes. But if you do not want to do that, just say that. Because I know you don't want to hurt people, intentionally or unintentionally. But when you say yes, you're only hurting yourself. And that is not something that you should do. Like, you don't have to force yourself to do things that you do not want to do. And if people do react in a bad way, like, girl, ask yourself a couple of things. Like, maybe rethink your relationship with that person, because it's not normal that the only time that you say no, they react as if you insulted their whole family. Like, it's not normal. Like, they should be happy that you set boundaries. And I know when you're starting to say no, especially if all your life you always said yes to a certain person, to certain people, and suddenly you're saying no, people are gonna be really surprised, people are gonna be disappointed, they're gonna be sad, they're gonna be angry. You're gonna lose a lot of people. Like, the moment I started to do that, like the moment I basically started to give the same energy and started to give the same that they were giving me, basically breadcrumbs, I lost a lot of people. I stopped talking to a lot of people, or they stopped talking to me, because I wasn't giving them what they wanted, but they weren't too. So I'm not doing like charity work. No, I did that for a lot of years, but now I don't want to anymore. And also, if you're saying no, like, don't over justify yourself. Like, if you do not want to go to a party, you're just gonna say, no, I'm not going to come today, but thank you for the invitation. Because if people react really bad because you said no, girl, please, you have to run. Like, cut them off, because they're probably understanding that they do not have that much power over you anymore. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but they were just using you. They're losing all the benefits that they had when you always said yes. They're gonna lose all the benefits, so it doesn't serve them anymore. Like, you don't serve them anymore. Like, they're not gonna be able to control you anymore, basically. There are people that only are in a relationship, it could be a friendship or like just a polite relationship with somebody, just because they're gaining something from them. I know, that's, it's like, how these kind of people exist, and that's why you should always set boundaries, standards, and learn to say no. Number 4, learn to be okay being alone. You don't have to wait for other people to feel good about yourself, and you have to learn to be alone. Like, I know a lot of people that only feel secure and confident in themselves only if they're in a relationship, or like if people basically approve them. Like, they only feel good if other people tell them they're good. But you don't have to wait for other people to feel good. Like, you don't have to give other people that power over you. Like, you have to be capable of loving yourself even if other people do not love you. Like, even if you're not in a relationship, even if you don't have people around you that do love you, you have to love yourself. You have to be capable of loving yourself. Love yourself because you decide to do so. Decide to love yourself because you know your worth. You know how much value you bring. And in that way, if you love yourself, you don't need anyone. Like I said before, there's nothing that can happen that can make you doubt yourself. Because you truly love yourself, you know your worth, you know your value. You don't need anyone to tell you you're a good person, because you already know. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're a good person, that you're lovable, because you already know that. Like, it's really about a decision. Like, loving yourself is a decision, and once you decide to love yourself, regardless of anything, basically, regardless of your flaws, regardless if the people do not love you, if people do not tell you that you're a lovable person, you still love yourself nonetheless. Like, people are gonna be an addition to your life, but they're not gonna be your whole world, basically. And number 5 is really connected to the last point that I said here, and it's to act like the main character, because you are. And that is also about romanticizing your life, being selective with the people you surround yourself with, and also the actions that you take every single day. Like, take decisions that make you happy right now or in the future. Like, think, if I was in a series, if I was in a movie, how would I want to be? How would I want to act? Like, how do I want my life to look like? Because if you give yourself more credit, if you make yourself feel special and important, other people would do so too. But if you only talk bad about yourself, if you feel insecure, people are gonna see that, and people are gonna treat you the same way you treat yourself. And also, like, remove other people from the pedestal. Like, people in your life, like your family, your friends, they are side characters. You are the main character, so act like one. Like, you're not faking. It's not about like faking till you make it. No, you're really the main character of your life. Like, the most important person in your life is you. And it's really not about like narcissism or like being arrogant. It's just the truth. Like, we have to stop putting other people before ourselves. So start acting like the main character. Like, you can decide what you want to do with your life and how you want your life to look like. And that is something that you should be happy about, because you can literally change your life tomorrow or right now. If you only decide to do so, work for yourself, like work on yourself and for yourself to achieve your dreams, to reach your full potential. Like, just do what makes you happy. That was it. I hope that this video helped you, and I really hope that you're gonna use some of these tips in your life. Just do yourself a favor and be kind to yourself, please. So yeah. If you like this video, you can watch the other ones on my channel. If you want, you can follow me on TikTok, and we're gonna see us in the next video. Bye! Mwah.